Welcome to the Quit Vaping podcast, the podcast designed to make you a non-listener. In this show, I'm not going to scare you away from a life of vaping. What I am going to do is show you just how good your life can be without it. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to the Quit Vaping podcast. We have officially made it to episode 10. Woohoo! If you're just getting here today for the first time, my name is Andrew Cipriano and I'm a life coach who helps people make meaningful income. And I also help people quit vaping because it's one of the first things that I was able to quit permanently and easily once I learned the tools that I teach in life coaching. So if you've not listened to episode 2 yet, I would recommend you go back. That's where I tell you about my framework for how to quit vaping. But if you have and you're back, welcome. Hopefully this is going to be one of the last episodes you listen to in order to quit vaping for good. And today we're going to talk about the permanent solution to quitting vaping. Now, before I get into the permanent solution, I want to offer, I don't think that vaping is inherently bad. I don't think that people who do it are wrong or there's something like off about them. I don't think they have an addictive personality. I don't think there's anything wrong with you. But a lot of the times with vaping or with any substance we use, we get to a point where we realize it's no longer serving us in our life the way that we thought it was. And we want to stop, and we're at this crossroads where we don't really know how because we've gotten ourselves addicted to something and we don't understand the psychology and how to get away from the addiction. That's exactly where I come in. I vaped for 7 years before that I smoked cigarettes, and I didn't always want to quit. I got to a point, though, where I realized, and I remember this thought vividly in my head, if I'm going to become a life coach, I cannot be addicted to anything. And that's a thought that I held very firmly, and that was one of the beliefs that actually helped me quit vaping, quite honestly, pretty easily and never look back. So today we're talking about the permanent solution, and for anyone wondering, the permanent solution is your belief systems or your thoughts. Now remember, I consider beliefs just thoughts you've had over and over and over again that you are attached to, that you think are true, and that's all they are, right? Beliefs are just things that we've been told or that we've learned from watching or that we've created in our own mind that we haven't necessarily always questioned that create our results for us. And they're completely optional. That's the big thing here. So a lot of people live lives that are very unconscious and they don't understand why they do the things they're doing. They don't understand why they don't have jobs that pay well. They don't understand why they can't hold relationships. They self-sabotage. And the reason is because there's underlying beliefs that they're most likely not aware of that are creating the results for them. Remember, your thoughts create the emotions in your body, which drive you to action, which create your results. Very simple, very powerful. If you're very unaware, you're going to have a life where you're completely out of control. And it's never a control issue. It's an awareness issue. And what that means is that we always have the control of our lives to do what we want, to act how we want, to create whatever we want. We always have that control. But most of the time, we're unaware of beliefs that are actually getting in our way from creating those results. Now, if you've listened to other episodes by now, you're going to have heard this before, this idea. And I'm going to go through one of the beliefs that we've already talked about in another episode. Because just like the beliefs that you've heard that you believe now had to be repeated for you to believe them, they have to be repeated for you to unbelieve them. We have to become conscious of them. We have to find evidence against them. And then we have to just change them in our minds. And once our beliefs change, our actions change and our results change. I want you to think about your belief systems as self-fulfilling prophecies. And it always works like that. Exactly straightforward, just like that. Very simple. Now let's take an example from a previous podcast. Vaping helps with anxiety. Now, really fast, I want to go through this. So a lot of us believe that vaping helps with anxiety. I get it all the time. And it's always an unquestioned belief, by the way, when I get this. People just assume that it helps with anxiety and that's what they believe. And in a way, they're right, but in a way, they're wrong. Now, I want you to question this belief. If you understand how addiction works, when your body becomes chemically addicted to something or physically addicted to something, what it does is it creates anxiety in your body when it does not have that substance. That's exactly how addiction functions. So when you're addicted to nicotine, obviously vapes have nicotine in them, you're addicted pretty much the first time you use it, by the way. As you use it, you get more addicted, right? But it has a very, very quick acting drug. So right when you hit it, within 8 seconds, it's in your bloodstream, it's in your brain, you're feeling the effects, and you're officially begun the addiction process. I remember when I was 25 years old, I bought myself a vape for my birthday. I hadn't vaped for 3 weeks. So after 3 weeks, all the nicotine, the physical addiction is gone. And I still was mentally addicted to it, right? I had belief systems that were encouraging me to use vape again because I thought I would enjoy it. So I bought a vape. Me and my brother got one. It was a little disposable one. And I remember we started using it at 8 o'clock in the morning. And by 10:30, I was already using it as if I was addicted to it. I already felt that physical kind of anxiety that was created in my body when I didn't have it. It was crazy how fast it worked. So when you are addicted to nicotine, your body creates anxiety when you do not have that substance. In order to cure the anxiety, you have to use that substance. So when you use your vape, when you're addicted to nicotine, it does cure anxiety, but only the anxiety caused by the drug addiction. Now, this is really important because when you believe that vaping cures anxiety and you don't actually digest that belief, understand it, take it apart, find out why you believe that, you're always going to want to use nicotine when you're anxious. Even if you're not addicted to nicotine, your belief system is that it's going to help me when I'm anxious. So what happens when I experience anxiety, even if I haven't vaped before, and I think that this thing's going to help with anxiety, I'm going to have a desire to use it. Even without the physical addiction of nicotine, if I'm thinking that it's going to benefit me, I will have a desire to use it. Remember, your thoughts create your emotions, and urge is an emotion. If I'm anxious and I have the thought vaping will help with anxiety, I'm going to have an urge, a drive to use that substance, even if I haven't used it before. That's how powerful your beliefs are. And I want to offer that your belief systems can be more powerful than the physical addiction, and they often are. When you're physically addicted to nicotine, you're really only addicted for 2 to 3 weeks at the most, even if you're a very quote unquote heavy user. So everything past that, if you've ever quit and it's gone on for more than 2 or 3 weeks, or you've had really strong urges for a long time, it's because you're still believing that without nicotine in your life's going to be worse. Or you're believing something like, I need nicotine to cure this emotion to make my life better. Some kind of attachment mentally to nicotine. That's where the urge is coming from. Your beliefs are always self-fulfilling prophecies. And the beautiful thing about beliefs is that you get to believe whatever you want. I always say this. I used to work in a psych hospital, and I was told by the staff, don't ever buy into patients' delusions. So when a patient was experiencing psychosis, which is pretty much a disconnect from reality, we're supposed to kind of lightly ground them back into what's real and what's not. And in life coaching, it's so funny. I give the complete opposite advice. I say, either way, your beliefs are going to create your results. You can either choose to believe things that serve you and create the life that you want, or you can choose and believe things that don't serve you and keep you addicted to drugs and in a small life. Either way, you're delusional because you can find proof against it or for it, every single belief. So do you want to believe things that serve you, or do you want to believe things that hurt you? If you want to hold on to beliefs about nicotine, that your life is better with it, and then it's so hard to quit, and that you're just never going to enjoy a social event, or you're going to have to change your friends, remember, those beliefs are self-fulfilling prophecies. If I think that quitting vaping is hard, it's going to be really hard for me. I'm going to find ways to prove that belief right. And you most likely won't think this is a conscious decision. It won't feel like something that's within your control, but it always is. If I choose to believe that quitting is easy, I can do it today, and that actually I'm a much less anxious person without nicotine addiction, then you can choose to believe that. And guess what? When you actually take the time to sit down and find evidence for those beliefs, quitting becomes easy, you never look back, and you learn how to deal with your anxiety without needing nicotine or drug addiction. It's that easy. Thoughts and beliefs, the same difference, are the permanent solution to not only quitting vaping, but creating whatever result you want in your life. That's the foundation of the work that I do. If you can learn to manage your thoughts around nicotine, what else can you learn to manage your thoughts around? Suddenly, you believe that you're worth $150 an hour. Suddenly, you believe that you can live wherever you want and have the lifestyle that you want. Suddenly, you believe that you can see yourself as the person you've always wanted to become, and you can actually start taking action towards creating that person for yourself. This work is not just about quitting vaping. I'm not anti-vape, but when you're addicted to drugs, it's very hard to picture yourself and start taking action towards the person you want to become with that addiction present in your life. And the addiction's a really good place to start if your life isn't going how you want it to. Guess what? If your life's not going so well, drug addiction probably isn't making it better. And it's a really easy place, a really, really solid place that you know you can fix if you want to start feeling better and taking action towards creating the person you want to become. If you're addicted to drugs and you don't want to be, start there. It's an excellent starting point to learn how to manage your mind, believe what you want, feel your emotions, and actually create the life you want the most. Thank you so much for listening. This is the permanent solution, not only to vaping, but to everything in your life. And I'm not just saying that lightly. This is a genuine truth. It's an ultimate truth of how the world works. Learn how to choose what you want to believe, and you create the exact life that you want, because your beliefs are self-fulfilling prophecies, and they're always optional as long as you can become aware of them. Thank you for listening. Have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you next week. What's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying the show and that each episode is bringing you one step closer to becoming a non-listener. If you'd like to take all this information to the next level and finally quit vaping for good, you can check out the course link in my bio. Have a great day. See you next week.